Nice. So, we are live now. That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm so happy. So let's see who is on here, who wants to work on the crisis-proof wealth identity. Yay. That's so good. Welcome, Roy. Welcome to today's masterclass. I am glad to present you with Roy the topic of identity creation. So official welcome, Roy. Nice to have you here. Thanks for coming. For those who don't know Roy, he's a true master of identity creation. I guess I would not lie if I say you are the world leading champion in personal growth through the quantum field. So Roy is a holistic doctor, bestseller author, business and life coach. Beside that, a really smart guy with a nice family and so much more. So thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here and to work with you. And my biggest pleasure is to share, of course, those ideas and concepts that come from the quantum field. And what I like about us working together is that we have so many similar ideas, but the quantum field is infinite. So there's not one way. There's not, I always want to go for the fastest way. That's just my personality and character. But there's never one way. And when we work together, we learn from each other, and we actually, I would say, even create synergy that you cannot do separate from each other. And then we also have the male-female aspect, which creates a different perspective. Because as a female, of course, you have a different, how do we put this way, a different way of looking at life. Because as a female, you're always number one, a mother, a caretaker, and then you may be a business person or other things. But that caring is so central for the female part. I'm not saying that's not true for the male part, but it's more pronounced in the female part. And in the male part, where I come from, we are, okay, let's make things happen. And what I've learned from shamans in the Amazon is that the women are the ones who have to tell the men it's enough. You see, the men are go, 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 go. They will, if you say, okay, go cut trees, we will be cutting trees. We will not stop until the women come and say, hey guys, we have enough trees. So we need that balance in life. And of course we can do it in ourselves, but I always appreciate it when it's reflected also on the outside and have that synergy together. So thank you for having me. And it's always a pleasure to share or combine knowledge to as many people as possible. Thank you.
Yeah, that's so good. So, right, I know you could tell stories over stories about what it means to be crisis proof. You and I have even been before the COVID. We have had fantastic opportunities to learn and deal with different crises. But what is the most important thing that leads you to join this topic tonight? So,
yeah, you see, as a human being, we are programmed, first of all, from our DNA for survival. And then in our brains, we have a big part of the brain is based on survival. So we have DNA level, we have the brain, and then we have the mind. And when we look at these two layers, so first DNA, that is our blueprint for a physical presence. Then the brain, we can see it as a central computer system. Together with the autonomous nervous system, it regulates everything in our body. And then we have a mind, which we can call the software. So we have the two parts of the hardware. So we have the part of the DNA, which a lot of people do not know, but it's programmable. That's where when we touch on epigenetics, we get into that. Then we have, of course, the survival brain, but that is triggered by the way we look at the world. So when we hit, let's say, we're looking for the comfort zone, and then when something global happens, like a global crisis, for most people, they're completely thrown out of balance because it's a challenge outside of their comfort zone. You see, we all have challenges all the time in our family, in our business. But when we're looking at global crisis where there's also global fear, now we have the collective survival mechanism triggered even more. And what I've discovered is that it is like we have been conditioned to react in a certain way with a big crisis. So that's the biggest challenge that we have. And to become crisis proof, we need to train our mind first how to instruct our brain and how we can influence our DNA. So crisis is good always because it gives us the opportunity for a quantum leap in our consciousness. So for me, that was what COVID did for me, was a quantum leap out of my comfort zone. I was making easy money, and then boom, everything stopped. Okay. No more workshops. I lost like 1 million in workshops like that. And then you come into first in the survival brain, there's this fear, then there's anger, and then you go through that and finally get into the acceptance part. And there's also a lot of people get into the depression part and never get out of that. But once you hit acceptance, now you're free again to become to move to the next level. And for me, the next level was just to look at the market and decide, okay, what do I do now? What does the market need in this time the most? What do my client needs right now? Because there's one thing we know for sure, Stephanie, is that everybody's going through that survival triggers. So that's a common thing. So you, as a mentor, you will have to deal with your clients who are either panicking or they don't know what to do, and that's when people like you become awake because you're being called to duty, and people, and let's say the people expect from you that you can guide them through the whole crisis. That's leadership, and we both went through that. So we're called to becoming true leaders, and that's when in crisis the leaders stand up and the sheep panic, right? That's the whole point that we're bringing in today, and we want to help you today because we have no guarantee there will not be another crisis. We don't have no guarantee there's not going to be a financial crisis. We have no guarantee there's not going to be a climate crisis or the next calamity like the flooding we had in Germany and Belgium, all those kind of things. So we're living in times where crisis may become more normal than the status quo. And that's why right now it's a warning. If you're not crisis proof yet, you have to become crisis proof for anything that's coming right now. And that's basically what we call the wealth identity. Because if you have a wealth identity, it does not fluctuate with crises. So my life, it does not change because of a crisis. I don't eat less, I don't stress more, but what I need to do is go back into my what I call the creative state of my brain and come up with new solutions for my clients and for the people following my leadership. That's basically what I would like to start with for our group.
Love that. Love that. Who wants that? Type a 333 in the chat if you want exactly to be crisis proof. So that's amazing. We want to cover a lot. We just bespoke before our session now. Oh, maybe it's too much, but we will cover the most important parts so that you know what are the mistakes, how to conquer the imposter syndrome, what it is, and how to cope with it, and to hit the exact frequency that you need to get in this new wealth identity. But let's take a while with the crisis. So what is that what you really need? You need for sure worthy knowledge, and this is the thing that you can offer and charge for. And you need, and it's very, very important, unshakable faith in you, in the quantum field, in your customers. And you need anti-fragile abilities. So this is very, very important. And of course, tools to shift your frequencies. And also, we know that everything is possible. So also, we are not vibrating every day on the highest frequency, but we have tools how to shift our frequency in some minutes, and that's important. Of course, you need a business that is wealthy or knows how to treat a cold if it's not healthy at the moment. So, and that's very important. And to not get nervous in that phase, you need multiple streams of income to cope that phase of the cold of the business. Yeah, would you add something? Or...
Yeah, there are a couple of things that I think are really important here as well. It's, of course, to understand the foundation, just like I explained, is we're constantly sending out energy, frequencies, vibrations into the field all the time. And one of the things that most people didn't realize is that when you have a collective fear like we're having right now, when you say, let's say in your community or in the world, there's over 2/3 of the people in stress, in fear, in survival, you need to also be able to create a bubble around you of, you can call it whatever you want, protection, safety, but you need to protect your frequencies, because such a massive input of low frequencies, you need to put a massive, let's say, counter wave to that as well. Because even if you don't notice it directly, you will be affected just by the sheer power that we're facing in the collective. And that's what makes this crisis so important, is that it gives us the tools, or we can sharpen our tools even better because of the hugeness of it. And one of the things that when you talk tools to shift your frequencies, there are a few things that you need to know. You need to have a tool that is super fast. It's not like, oh, I'm going to do 5 days working on my emotions. You need to be able to shift from terror to the highest frequency, if possible, in less than 10 seconds. That is the goal of a wealth identity, because you're being shaken. I call it the shock effect. And for a moment, you are lost between your true self and an old part of your brain, calling the survival brain, and you're shaken, right? And everybody who is in a human body will feel that. You'll be shocked. And the moment of shock is the moment that you need the tool the most, because as a leader, you don't have time to go and sit for a week in silence. You need to be able to move very quick. And neuroscience, we call this an anchor. You need an anchor to quickly shift your thoughts, your feelings, your attitude, and your mindset into wherever you want to be. And that's what we call the wealth identity. And the wealth identity is your safe place. It shouldn't be your escape place. It should be your home base. So when your home base is attacked, you need to be able to keep it stable. And that's why the frequencies tools are so important, to be able to shift your frequencies in seconds instead of days. That I think is important for people to know.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, everything sounds very logical and simple, but it's more than tricky to get this done. I mean, we say the devil is in the detail. Sometimes you try to change too much and then you're becoming overwhelmed by your own action plan. Especially if you're a high achiever. from what I've heard so far. Another huge mistake is to rationalize the decisions instead of following your higher guidance. And that's the thing. So we can jump to the mistakes. We covered the creation already. And if you're changing too much, that is a huge one. Another huge mistake is to rationalize, and it's hard to distinguish between your rationalized part of the brain, if you're overthinking things, or to have the guidance from your heart. And the easy thing is to follow the flow, the joy, the effortlessness. And even us, it took us decades to implement this, even though we understood this for a long, long time. So, and I guess you understand where we are coming from. And another thing is perfectionism. And I could say a lot about perfectionism, but I will say only the following. Perfectionism is a cowardly pig, and you can write this down. And this is important because you think it's about being perfect, but perfectionism is a cowardly pig. You think you want to be perfect, but it's more about being not brave and bold enough to get things done and put them in the world with an 80% perfectionism. That's the thing. So, and on top of that, the whole mistakes you are doing, you have this self-mortification. So you feel shame and guilt because of making all the mistakes, and you feel you could live up your potential, but you try and try. And let me tell you this, trying is not enough. To achieve your goals, you have to switch to a warrior mode. But mostly the inner cheater is holding you back. So, Roy, what is the best way to kill the inner cheater softly? And I know that's a hard formulation, and you would call it how to conquer the imposter syndrome. So, but what's the thing? How we can do it?
Well, I think the most important thing I've learned is that, and especially when I was dealing with cancer patients, so because as a medical doctor, you get all kinds of stuff. The toughest ones, of course, are the people with cancer, especially if they've been everywhere and the doctor have told them, like, okay, you have only some months to live. So people come to me in despair. It is like they don't really know if I can help them. They hope I can help them. And that's the problem, because as long as there's hope, but there's not a change in I am certain I can do it, that's the whole point. So that's, you see, the inner cheater in disease is what keeps people sick. They did not really assume the identity of a person who's healthy. So the first thing I teach to cancer patients is that I give them examples and I connect them with people who have survived. So they need to believe it's possible. It should not be hope. It should be like, if this person can do it, who was in a similar situation like me, or even worse, and this person is not smarter, is not having other capabilities than I have, except for the way they see themselves. So that's the whole point. So an inner cheater has everything to do with your self-image. So if you cannot stand in front of the mirror and see your greatness, you're cheating yourself. So the ongoing criticism of yourself is the echo of criticism that you received when you were younger, that you were not good enough, were not perfect enough, you didn't do all the things like they want you to do it, you were not fulfilling the expectations of others. And this echo we bring in with us in a subconscious mind. And that's the part that needs to be, as you said, conquered. You just have to say, no, this is not me anymore. This is who I am. So you need to choose, I would say, the identity you want to step in. So every time you're facing criticism, procrastination, excuses, this needs to become so obvious to you, so conscious to you, and you no longer accept it from yourself. It's like a parent accepting the excuses of a child. I'm tired, it's late, I don't want to do this now, I want to do it tomorrow. You're the same, let's say, in the same situations. You need to be your own parent, you need to be your own coach, and you need to stand up and fight. And those patients who do that, who change from hope into certainty, if someone else can do it, I can do it. I'm not less than anybody else. That's when you break the inner cheater. So it is standing up and showing up. That's what I would say. And not accepting your excuses anymore as viable reasons not to do what you know that you have to be doing.
Yeah, really, really good. I like it. And I want to add a kind of psychological point of view. So especially the imposter syndrome is something that we call a dysfunctional attribution pattern. And I will explain it with easy words in a second, because psychologists tend to say things in a way that only a few can understand to let it look more important than it is. So if you would suffer from imposter, that's really simple. Then you would relate success to external factors. Let's say you have been successful because others supported you. It was the right time, or the star constellation was really good. The moon was new moon or whatever. Yeah. So all external factors. And every time you would fail, you would think, oh, that's because of my behavior, my thoughts, the lack of skill sets. And I am not the person that can work with pressure or without pressure or talk perfectly in another language and so on. So all internal factors. And to get rid of it, we have to acknowledge this pattern, decide to change it, and reprogram it. So the fun fact that the imposter syndrome is very, very typical for high achievers, because they have serious difficulties to acknowledging their extraordinary skills. And that's amazing. So, and we can easily shift that by just seeing the pattern, but you have to recognize it first. So it's a lot about awareness. Okay. So that's important for the imposter. And we want to cover the correlations between wealth blocking thoughts, conflicting money beliefs, poverty addiction habits, and energetic vibrations of the lack programming. And someone asked me today, what is the lack programming? Maybe we have to explain this first.
Yeah, from my point of view, is the lack programming comes often from the way you grow up, and for example, just a simple thing is that when we are in the United States, my wife and I, or when we are in Austria, I noticed that my wife is reacting different in Austria than she's in the States, which is quite interesting. And we had this argument, and it was about, how much taxes you're going to pay or not. So there was some pain in paying taxes. So that in itself, so the lack syndrome is, in a way, anytime you correlate pain with money in any way, either not having enough, or when you're paying, you have some pain associated with, and a lot of people have pain with paying taxes. And you need to create all the energetic vibrations about money. You need to make that positive vibration. You cannot have a conflicting energy on money, because you cannot just say, oh, I'm going to be rich, and then the other moment you have, when you're rich, you have pain paying a lot more taxes. Not that I'm saying you have to pay more tax, but if there's pain there, you're in poverty. So we see a lot of rich people who still have vibrations of lack, right? So it's not because you have money. It is a different having a lot of money in your account and true wealth. True wealth is not only the money. It is your lifestyle. It is your mindset. It's your identity. Is how you live. Is true wealth. You can have true wealth without having millions, and you can have millions and not have true wealth. So it's a total different thing, and it has everything to do with the energetic vibrations of lack.
Yeah. So good. So I know that sounds obvious, and most of you know that, but how can we explain the correlation between our thoughts and the energy system? So every thought and emotion has its own vibrational frequency or wave frequency. And that's very important to keep in mind. So the shape of a wave has peaks and valleys. And energy waves are encoders and carriers of information with infinite capacity of storage. So that's why it's so important what Roy just said. If there's something bad connected to it, then it will not ideally be the same shape of our DNA, because we can change the vibrational frequency by adding something. If we have a negative energetic frequency, by adding a positive one, so then it's equal again. So it's very good to know, and not a lot of experts are talking about this. And this is very important because when it comes to our DNA, then we know we have a special shape in our DNA, and there are special so-called antennas, receptors on the DNA. And if we would take the word fear, for example, and I have it on one of the slides, let me show this to you. When we take the wavelength of fear, it's long and therefore slower. So that means it activates only a few antennas on our DNA. And these antennas are very important to get the connection to higher realms. And if you would take love, then it's a shorter and faster wavelength, which activates many more antennas. That's why we have a better connection and we feel more oneness. And it's not about the words fear or love. It's connected to wealth and abundance as well. So I don't have a photo of abundance, but just feel the words, what they are doing. They are more harmonic. They are more in the ideal frequency instead of poverty and poor. Yeah. So that's really important to know, that it's not only about frequencies, it's about frequencies and our DNA. So, isn't it amazing? Give us some comments, please. Because every time you would say, yeah, that's the way I am, I can't do this, XYZ, you would manifest your actual identity by sending out the wrong frequencies that can't connect you to the cosmos. So that's it. That's the whole secret. So that's why if you want to establish a new crisis-proof wealth identity, you have to change it. And you have to say something like, I have had to be that way for a long time to explore 1,000 ways how it does not work. Yeah, I think on our electricity inventor, Edison.
Yeah.
So, and now it's time to create a new crisis-proof wealth identity. So that's a lot about how we talk about our identity, and that we are willing to change it and recognize and acknowledge our old identity, because it was a survival pattern.
Yeah, and what I want to add is that the biggest challenge you will face in shifting your identity to who you truly are is your environment. You see, your environment is the, I would say, the influence of who you are. So they have been accustomed to you in a certain way. Let's say in a partnership that you may behave in a certain way, and when you change, and that's the reason why a lot of people have problems in shifting their identity, is that they will immediately get a response from the environment. And the environment has one job, and then this is the definition that I want you to write down. Your environment has only one job, and that's to check if you are congruent with who you pretend to be. Okay, because when we shift our identity, we are now playing a different role, and you will be tested on this role by your environment. So the big part, that's the reason why we do a retreat, because we want to have a cocoon environment, and we want to have it for a couple of days so we can create this rooted identity. We need to prepare you that when you go back into your world, that they're going to shake your identity, and can you withstand that storm of reaction of people you care about, people you love, who are going to give you feedback. I mean, maybe criticism, or maybe they're going to refuse, or they might laugh at you, or whatever, or they might say you're crazy. All those things you need to be. That's the first crisis that we are preparing people after retreat. An identity shift always create a reactionary pattern of the environment, and that's why it's so good that we get you in the right frequencies and train you how to keep that frequency, that nobody can take it away from you. If you manage that, then you're done. And that's when we were discussing, what is the shortest amount of time that we need to change that to make it hold in any circumstances. We came between 4 and 5 days. That was the minimum that we need in order to change that identity and to make it. It shouldn't be a young tree that goes out. It should be already a tree with roots deep into the earth, that if a wind comes, you're not going to fall down. That's the basic idea that we're talking about here.
Yeah, that's so right. And if you don't change your identity, you will experience a downward spiral. Mm-hmm. So if you ever ask yourself why things are challenging for you, that's the answer. Your identity is not crisis-proof and wealth-orientated yet. So who would like to change that? Write a 111 in the chat. That's good, because, and I covered this the last time, but it's so important to keep in mind, you have the same thoughts like yesterday, so to 95%. So, and then you have the same feelings over and over again. And the feelings are guided by a hormonal reaction, and this hormonal reaction gets an hormonal addiction. So, and you are stuck in this frequency forever. That's why it's so important to change that at once. So when you go to a seminar and that only covers the mindset, you can't win with that. If you go to a seminar that works only with one part, maybe the feelings, then you are lost again. So you need a holistic approach. That's very, very important. So thanks for your comments. So what is important? What are the essentials of quantum identity creation? You have to create your ideal future self. Roy is calling it the quantum self. I say energetic signature. So how it was meant to be. What was the original plan? And you have to define the details. A lot of people just say, yeah, it would be a rich guy or a wealthy lady, something like this. But that's not enough. You have to know exactly what are the thoughts, what are the feelings, what are the coping strategies, what are the vibes. And this is stuff you can directly download from the field. And intentionally, you have to start to put the new self in action. And that's the hardest part. So you have to be the best version of you in daily life, with your partner, with your kids, in your job, wherever you are. And that's the true challenge. But it's much better to cope with it if you have an environment, if you have buddies that you know that you can contact. So, and it's about reinforce it by appreciation yourself every day in every way. And when you falter, you think about what this new version of you would do, and you raise your frequency. That's why you need those tools, and you need this wealth creation, and you model it. So those are the essentials. Write this down and take a screenshot so that you keep this in mind. So let's see, 111, 111. I think a new and bigger identity is not only necessary for crisis, even more success. Yeah, right, Oliver. That's true. So let's see. First, we shape our environment, then our environment shapes us, says Alexander. Hello, warm hello to Alexander. So that's it. Maybe we have to say something about the law of resonance, Roy, as well.
Yeah, in the past,
we finish.
yeah, we heard about this so-called secret, and they were very big in talking about the law of attraction. But the reality is there's not one law of attraction. But if we would look at the quantum science, the biggest law is the law of resonance. So that's the one thing we need to understand. Even Einstein, and this is, what is it, like over 80 years ago at least, said that if you want to create another future, you need to match the frequencies of that future. When you do, then that future will manifest. And this is not philosophy, he said, this is physics. So there's a law in physics, in quantum science, that says that with each frequency, there's a certain materialization of that frequency in life. So if there's a fear-based frequency, that will materialize itself in life. And it could be in different ways. It could be physical, it could be what you attract, and so on. So the whole thing is that with the frequencies, you attract what belongs with this frequency. So if you have a mixed frequency on one part, you have like these frequencies, I am wealthy, and the other part you are fearful, or you have a lack syndrome, that this may create stress. And when it creates stress in your life somewhere, this stress has to manifest. And this can be in disease, it can be in emotions, so you can be depressed, unhappy. It can be that, yes, you made a lot of money, but you're miserable in your relationship. So we need to find what we call a bandwidth of high frequencies that we want to move into. So when we are in the high frequencies range, we don't attract disease or negative things because it's a lower frequency range. So this is the importance of knowing the law of resonance and work with the frequencies to understand what is the range of frequency you need to resonate with to create the life that you want. And biggest mistake people make is that they only take a small bandwidth. For example, money. They don't take also love or relationships or health or happiness into it. And now in all of what's possible, you've limited yourself to a very small range of frequency, which is money or something else. And that's why we call it a wealth identity, because it's not only about money, it's about having that life that your hearts desire the most, a life without suffering, a life with grace, ease, and joy, a life of abundance. And that's the bandwidth we're going for. And when you send that out, you become a magnet for the people who want to have that frequency too. So the people need to feel it, they need to desire it, and they will feel it. This is just in the whole universe. You will attract the beings that resonate with that desire that they have in their heart. So that is why it's so important that you become that person, because now you're attracting many more people from the heart, not from the head, but from the heart. And those are the clients that you want to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, perfect. That's very important. So, and you see this on this picture. So even though there are a lot of things going on, from weather catastrophe till something with measurements and so on, you are vibrating on the ideal frequencies. And it's not only one, there are more frequencies. And you are getting magnetic, but not through a vaccination, through your frequency. So, and that's the most important part. So you will attract synchronicities, you will attract situations where you can double everything that you want. You will attract the right people, and then you will 10x everything. So that's the most exciting part. That's the wealth identity. And when you step into this field and you have discovered and you have explored this for yourself, you can give it to others. And I know that's the most, that's something that a lot of people like the most, because it gives you additional joy. Okay. So let's see. Do we have time for the alter ego? No. Who wants to know something about the alter ego? The question is, what's your superpower? What's your superpower? Because we know there is this alter ego, and a lot of people think alter ego is the Superman, but it's not. The alter ego is Clark Kent, if I say it right.
Yeah?
That's correct. So, what's your superpower? Write it in the chat. Give us an information. Give us a comment. What's your superpower that you can, that you can intensify? What is it? What is it? So, because I know you want more. That's not the only thing.
And this is not the time to be shy. We're in a small, I would say, like-minded group.
Yeah.
Just say it, right? That's good.
Say it. So Severine, intuition is the superpower. Who else?
Mindfulness, okay.
Mindfulness is good. Really, really good.
Creativity,
I like it. So, and how to get more out of it. So who wants more? I know you want to learn how to get better, how to intensify your process. I know you want to be a better wealth creator. I know you begin to ask yourself, how can it be possible? And I know you want to learn how to give it to yourself and to others. And receive more superpowers.
Right. Yeah. Most people take their superpower for granted, and a lot of people are shy about it. And a lot of people, let's say your intuition, and this is an example, let's say you have good intuition. Your question then is, how can I upgrade it to the next level? So when you choose the path of your, we call this affinity, your predisposition, that what naturally already is yours, and you take it to the next level. So if I look at my own life, and when I was younger and I became a fighter and I became a good fighter, and you're always striving to become better and better and better. And at some point, I have now 3 world records that still are not broken after 35 years. So it's always increasing that superpower until it is such a big difference that you can say that you are in the 1% of the top of that category. That's what you want to go for. That's the affinity that the superpower can give you. When you're in the top 1%, you are the king or queen of your domain. That's the whole point you need to remember. All right? There's no competition there.
Yeah. So that's so good. So we talked about what we offer already a little bit, and we want to go deeper. So we know a lot of some of you, like Nicole, Alexander, are already in, and we will meet you in Portugal. And I can't wait for Alexander and Susanna to meet you again, with Nicole to meet you the first time live. And yeah, when and where? It's at Algarve. It's in Luz, so Praia de Luz to be correct, from the 5th till the 9th of September. And it's an exclusive live training, especially for experts, coaches, and business owners. And it's about how to explore the quantum wealth code. Yes. So, and we have to exclude those who don't want to live in abundance and who don't want to help to make the world a better place. Yeah, who doesn't want it? Hopefully nobody. So what we will do, we will focus on your personal ascension. We will create a whole certification program. So after those 5 days, you are ready to get out there and offer your quantum wealth coaching. And this is unique. So we have never done this before, and I don't know anybody who offers such a holistic program. Do you know anybody, Roy?
Yes, me. But I couldn't find anyone else. I still found you.
So for those who don't know Roy, we always talked about this. And you could see he's amazing. He's just amazing. For those who don't know me, I'm a quantum psychologist. I'm a business mentor, and I founded the Business Flow Academy. So, and I know a lot of you have come a long way, and the performance is excellent, but you could do so much more. There is a part where you are underperforming. And that's the part that we will work on these days. So there's a dominating force, and I think that's your superpower to talk about, Roy.
Yeah, we already touched upon the law of resonance. What we're going to do in this workshop is we're going to test you to see if you are in that frequency range where you need to be. And we're going to give you the tools to eliminate everything that's going to pull you out of that frequency range. So your goal is to daily check yourself to see if you are in the right frequency range. So whenever you start your day, you need to have a clear protocol, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time. to check your range of frequency. And also when you go back, there might still be some triggers that can bring you down lower, and then we will give you the anchors that you have that you can immediately shift back. So, the best of us may have moments and triggers in our lives, and we need to have a way to shift out really quickly, as we spoke about before. And here's the most important part. The one thing that you want to overcome is greed, the power of greed. The power of greed is a lower frequency, and you want to be in the power of abundance. And you can only be in abundance when you're detached from holding on to stuff. So, for example, now we're clearing our house for sale, and I have to go through my triggers of what are my things I want to hold on, and then again snap out of it, and I say no, this is the past. I'm not gonna. I don't need this anymore, and because I got a better connection now than all the 5,000 books that I have. So letting go of my books was already an identity shift for me, in that sense that it was a trigger. But because we have the anchors, every time you feel that emotion, you bring yourself out. And that when you bring yourself out of the emotion, you are now in the frequency range where you take decisions. You should never take decisions in the lower frequency range, because when you do that, then you attract more of the lower frequency. So, and you will immediately feel that after this retreat, you will know when you're in a lower frequency, and you know how to shift out of it immediately. That's the power that we want to give to you when you go back home.
So good. So I want you to experience the highest frequencies. And I want you to take this knowledge and pass it over to your clients. And I want you to enjoy those frequencies of wealth. And I want you to become a person that lives in prosperity and make the world a better place. So imagine how it would feel like if you step into this new identity. Imagine how would it feel like if you would have this after 5 days, 5 intense days. And that's amazing, because that's the amount of time we need to shift something. But you don't need 5 months to create a better you and to get a certification. So it's that simple. And yeah, maybe we talk more about the certification, because what we are doing is not only to put out a certificate, we will create a sacred business identity, and we will get your body connected to the energy field, and we will heal your money wounds, your abundance wounds, because we all suffer from transgenerational money problems, and we can heal it. We can heal it now. And for those who want to join us in Portugal, we will do an amazing dolphin trip. Even we would not see the dolphins, we would be in their frequency. And this is really amazing. I know you are very connected to dolphins as well, right?
Yeah, dolphins play a very important role in my life. I remember many years ago, it was 1990. I met the first dolphins, and they did therapy on me. And in the sense that after that, before I met the dolphins, I thought I was okay. I had no emotions. After I met the dolphins, I was an emotional basket case. And that's how I discovered a new technique called emotional balance. And that became a world bestseller, millions sold even in China. So I'm very happy with the
Especially in
dolphins.
China.
Yeah. I'm very happy with dolphins.
Yeah, so I mean, it's about healing. It's about hearing the calling. So if you're waiting for a sign, just place your hands above your heart and feel deep inside of you if it's right for you. And I know a lot of people have challenges, or I would love to come to Portugal, and we received a lot of emails and comments and so on. And we know it's not possible for everyone to attend live. That's why we've created also a possibility to attend online. But it doesn't matter if you would come to Portugal or attend online. What you will learn is to solve collective blockages and to solve wealth and success conflicts in your life, in your business, and in the life and businesses of others. So that's the frequency of affluence. And you can experience this, and we will have a lot of methods and tools that we give to you and pass over to you, because everything you will learn there, you can directly integrate that in your business. So
yeah. And what I want to add to that is that we will not let you go home the same way you came. Number one, we will test everyone one-on-one as a role model for everyone. So even the people online, you see, if we have a group of people in the room, they are the tip of the iceberg. They represent the commonalities of the group also online. So when we create what we call the harmony between where you were and where you should be, there's a collapse in quantum. They call it collapse of timelines. So you're jumping to another timeline. When you change your identity, your future is not anymore the default future that you had before that. So we all are walking on a line, going to a certain future event that is called our default future event. The moment you change your identity, you are no longer on the same timeline because your frequencies have changed. You're now on another timeline. And another timeline means other opportunities. It means that you're attracting other people into your life. And that shift, we want to make sure that everybody makes it. And we have different ways to test that. So we will test the people. And then when we work on these, let's say, subconscious conflicts, epigenetics conflicts, transgenerational conflicts, we are solving that for the whole group by working through the system. And then at the end of these 5 days, you are not anymore the person you were before. It is impossible. It is mathematically impossible. It is physics impossible. It is frequency impossible. You are going through the door as another person. And the reason that this is unique, because this has never been done. You can go to Tony Robbins and have true respect for his grandness, his greatness, his power, but it is not the same. It is much more coming through the mind. You're shifting a mindset, but it takes a lot of hard work after that to change the frequencies in your identity. That doesn't happen in 5 days with Tony. We want to make sure by testing you that when you walk out the door, you have the wealth identity. And that is a promise to everyone that will attend this retreat.
Yeah. And you should remember, you can't solve a problem with the same thoughts that have created the problem. And you should remember, you can't do it alone. Otherwise, you would have done it already.
Absolutely.
And you should remember that you have to learn from the best, because otherwise you will not be an alpha player. And that's important. Yeah. So we will reset your money frequency as well, because it's not about learning something new without deleting the old, and reset your old programming. So we will do quantum hypnosis, we will do tapping, we will do a lot of fancy stuff that is related to this new kind of wealth creation. And I'm excited already because we will create a 100% wealth congruency. And that's amazing. And therefore, we have to release all karma and epigenetics. We will reprogram the sub and unconscious mind to have happy triggers to money, wealth, and success, and effortlessness. So, who wants to know more? Who wants to know more? Because we can jump directly into the field and attract those synchronicities that you will need to become a wealthy person in a short amount of time. So you will add a lot of stuff. So I know Roy is an early bird, and Roy will offer karma release sessions. And hold on, 8 o'clock in the morning. But you will do it. And I think it will be amazing. And we will show you how to seal your frequencies. So, and that's the most important part. Roy talked about it at the beginning of the session. So you have to experience how to reprogram and anchor your energy frequencies in order to be able to call them up in an instant, no matter what. So that's some of the stuff, and we didn't read everything because it's a lot, but we will have a special hot seat tool, and you can reserve hot seats regarding your ticket, and we have several ticket options. Maybe we will jump directly to this part. So here we go. For those who want to attend online, we have 2 online ticket options. So there is the Money Mastery live stream ticket and the VIP Money Mastery live stream ticket. So with the VIP, you can get 12 months access to the training. With the normal Money Mastery live stream ticket, you will have access to the training for 1 month. So pajamas are not included, said Roy. Coffee also not, even in the VIP ticket not. But
sorry,
we will see how we can make pleasure, make so let's have you a nice experience. So both get certificated, so in both ticket options, and we have had, instead of coffee and pajamas, amazing bonus, and the amazing bonus is you can bring a second person on board. Maybe you wanted to say this, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. And the main reason for that is that we want you to have a buddy. We have someone to work with. We want you to have someone to share with. We have someone to inspire you. But most importantly, we want someone to keep you accountable on the new path. That's just one of the biggest things. And of course, you're free to share the price because both persons will get certified. So this is very, very special. And we are not the ones going to find a partner for you. So I think in the last one to say, hey, can you bring me a partner? No, that's your creativity. So it's a choice. You don't have to do it, but if you can do it, and they can be with you in the same place or they can be somewhere else. That doesn't really matter. So that's up to you. Okay?
Yeah. So, and we know you must take time to implement. You must not only hear inspirational thoughts, you must come into action. And you must have a partner that will guide you, and you must have a special time frame for putting things into action. So that's the thing for the online lazy ticket, because you can stay at home
in your pajamas,
in your pajamas, in your own ones, in your favorite ones. And you will get the whole certification as well. And then for those who wants to join us in Portugal, we have 3 ticket options. We can have you on the Money Mastery Live experience. So we only have 5 tickets, and I think there are only 2 left in this category. So it's the full retreat you can attend every day. Then we have the Money Mastery Live experience with gold full immersion. And in this option, you will have Roy's Karma Release Power Breathing sessions. And you have a hot seat guarantee. And you can spend the whole 5 days with us and 3 evenings with VIP sessions. And we have the best ticket, the Platinum Full Immersion. And that's with all of what we have said, plus additional an exclusive energy healing and coaching individual session with Roy and me directly on site, plus an individualized energy healing plan. So, and 2 years of video access and the access to the AM breathing. Of course, hot seat is included as well. So are there any questions? How to attend, how to come? We will give you the booking link now in the chat, and we will send it out tomorrow via email as well. So let us know if there are any questions how to attend this epic retreat. We can't wait to have you here. Alexander says, we love to be with you. It will be epic. We are lucky. So happy to come to Portugal. I feel the energy already. Yes, yes, yes. It will be great. Ah, look, this is synchronicity. Nicole says she is reading this book for the moment. Really good. Thank you very much. Says Oliver. Let us know. Michael Jackson is in the house with Heal the World. I see Ulrike is commenting. Yay. That's the evidence. He is still here. Chantal says, thank you. Thank you, Chantal, for staying here. So let us know if there are any questions. We will cover this. We will go over it. You can reach out to our support. Let's see. We have, so what we have said, it's not a sales pitch because we know it's a calling and you will feel if it's right for you. And sometimes there is a thought that says, oh no, it's not right because I can't afford it, or it's too complicated to come to Portugal. And if I want to attend, then I will attend live and so on. But that's not what we are talking about. Deep inside your heart, you will feel if you want to have this wealth now, if you want to make the world a better place, if you want to be a better coach, if you want to have the code for wealth creation, because if you have this, then nothing can happen anymore. So then you will be crisis proofed. And that's the most important thing that you can invest in right now. Because we know inside of a crisis, there are not a lot of things you can invest safely, but to invest in your skill set is the best thing you can do. So that's a quote from Warren Buffett.
Right. And it is important to understand the difference between going to a workshop where you get information, you get maybe new structures, new strategies, and so on and so on. That those workshops are very valuable, and There's nothing in me that would ever say something against those workshops, because I've done plenty of those. And the big difference here is we're working on you. It is not about learning new information in knowledge form. It is about learning new tools that we immediately apply to you. So I think that's the biggest promise we can make to you. And I already said it, that you are the one transforming very fast, probably faster than you ever have known that. And I've done a workshop like this, similar to what we're doing now. And what happens was very interesting to the people is that in 5 days you work in a safe environment. You're working on yourself, and yet there's some people have some tears, some people have some emotions, but you're not noticing there the amount of change happening. Some people feel tired because the body is processing. Those are all natural phenomena. Some people get dreams or things change, but when they go home, that's when people notice. And you know who notice it the first? People around you. They will ask you, what did you do? Why are you glowing? I'm still in a WhatsApp group of a group of people I work with, and people are asking them, what did happen to you? You are so full of light. You're glowing. There's something about you. Did you change your hair? They want to figure out what happened. And that's what we're going for. It is a change, a truly fundamental change in you. Identity is not strategy that you do, it is who you become. And you cannot put a price on it. I remember the most expensive coaching I've ever paid for was $100,000 to a woman called Lisa Sasevich here in the States. Is the master's in sale. And at the time, we didn't have the budget to do it. So we did it on a credit card, and monthly it would be paid. And just one session, we earned all the money back. But that was not a shift in identity, that was a shift in strategy. And when you have a shift in identity, it is different. It is not about one thing you do. It is that you are now sending out a different range of frequencies, and what you're going to experience, you have never experienced before, because the whole world changes when you change. So it is not about changing the world, it's about changing you. And like Mahatma Gandhi said, you want to become the change that you want to see in the world. So that's the point. You want to be the change. And that's what we're promising to you, that in these 5 days, it doesn't matter if you're online or you come live. Of course, live is a different vibe, because you can touch and you can feel, that's a different thing. But the change is the essential thing. And we can measure the change. We can measure frequencies. We can test that. And we will show this to you, that how your frequencies are changing. And I think this is the difference with anything else you've done before. And the price does not reflect the gifts that you're going to get. It does not, you cannot even compare it. But we want to do this now. And even though maybe COVID and people may have problems traveling, that's why we have to back up online training as well. But that's the promise we make to you, that you will go home, shift into another timeline, another quantum consciousness, and another future. That's what I would like to add to that.
It's really good. And I need to tell you that things could get worse, could become more worse outside. So we don't know how the political situation will change. So what we do know is we have to create a wealthy business and a wealth inside of us. And I need to tell you that this experience from the 5 days will be life-changing. And I need to tell you, this is priceless. So, and I need to tell you that you really should discover the pleasure of this form of learning, because this is very unique and special. And I absolutely need to tell you to enjoy the experience deeply, because that's about life. We are here to have pleasure and experience those kind of learnings and feel good about it. So that's what we have to say. Let us know if there are any questions. If you have questions, we have a support email address. It's info@businessflowacademy.com. So that's our happy customer support. We are happy to help. And grab your ticket now, because as you saw, we have only few spots left for those who want to attend offline. Oh, something is in here. And yeah, let us know if you have any questions. So that's the easiest way to become a quantum wealth master coach. Attend this retreat live, because this is a very special offer. We don't know if we will do it again in this form. What we do know, we can offer it as a recording after this, but now you have the opportunity to attend live and to ask questions and to be there to experience us live. So let's go. You have anything to add, Roy?
Yeah, I would recommend, if possible, to reserve the 5 days and have full focus. Yes, you could say, okay, I'm going to do it in 5 months. But in my experience, when you compact things in a short period of time, it's like the same thing how you create a diamond. You put a pressure on it, and then that pressure will change the molecular structure. Can it be done over time? Yes. But as you know, when you spread things out, you also always have the risk that things happen. So best is when you attend, to free these 5 days, have nothing else in your agenda, and just 100% be there. Tell everybody you're not available and focus, because this will be the biggest and fastest way to change. And then when you go back to your business, to your life, that's when you get the fast benefit immediately. That's what I would recommend everybody, to really do it in the 5 days if possible. If it's not possible, different story. You do the best you can. Always do the best you can, right?
Nicole, you're the best. Thanks a lot. Lots of hearts coming here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're amazing. So, yeah, let us know if you have any questions. Grab your ticket now. We will be there, and we will create a sacred space. So this will be fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you for attending. Let us know. If you have questions, we will answer you. We will write you back. So best way to come in touch is write an email at info@businessflowacademy.com. I will send out the booking link now again. So if you attend on YouTube, on Facebook, or wherever you see us right now, the link for the bookings is in the comments. Okay. Thank you so much, Roy.
Thank you, my dear. It's been a pleasure again to do this together. So much fun.
Yeah. So let us know what was your takeout? What's your biggest takeaway? I always say it's a kind of seed, and the seed you have to carry home. You have to put it in fertile soil. You have to watering it, and then it becomes slowly a smart plant. So what's your seed from today? What's your takeaway from the masterclass? Let us know. We will look it up after it. So bye-bye. Enjoy your evening. Best vibes to you. Thank you for attending this masterclass. Bye-bye.
See you.